Take your paper. Take your paper. Page 25.
Can I have my Sunday thing as well?
Yep.
Beefy.
I got hungry. It's all right, mate. It's all right.
He's a bit of a show-off.
Wait, Jay. What? It's got, look, I've got Hunky Scott.
What's the picture?
Putting on a brave smile there.
Yeah.
That is, look at him, he looks like he's dead.
Hello, Sean.
So we've just been told we're in this band. You're in a boy band.
Don't cause a scene. No. It's a magic colouring book. I'm gonna see her again. I don't know why she's so upset.
I used to get a £5 pocket money. I'm not kidding you, because I'm only 15 now. I'm not kidding either. I've never held this much money in my hand before.
I mean, I thought I was a millionaire then, and I'm like, is that all for me? I was just like flabbergasted, you know. I'd never had a job.
It was all very exciting. You know, you're 17, this big surprise has happened, you're signed to RCA Records, you're going to be on top of the pops. We've all just moved in together, and life is going to be crazy.
I remember who that guy was. And he didn't know what was going to come. And he weren't adept to deal with it.
This is the story of a faraway era in pop music history. A time when working-class boys were celebrated for singing and dancing in tight formation.
That chemistry that we had, it was something magical.
Being in a band just was an unrealistic dream. What's happening here?
Performing to a script written by visionary managers.
Nigel was Willy Wonka. He was in charge of the golden ticket.
They were idolised by millions.
It's the most amazing highs and then the most amazing lows.
Hounded by the tabloids.
They was absolutely ruthless.
And shaped by the desires of their screaming fans.
I just remember waking up every day and the fear of God would hit me that, oh shit, this is my life.
You were 100% a commodity and a product.
I mean, my nickname was Tolkien.
I do remember locking my hotel door every night and just going...
If you don't want that, then be an accountant. You can't have it both ways.
Magazines were king then. There would be a whole shelf which literally was Lab Mags. And people weren't worried about what was going on politically, what was going on. Well, we weren't, the youth weren't. It's just like, let your hair down and have fun.
Boy bands were seen as embarrassing. We need to have what Oasis, you know, what those bands have got in a boy band to be relevant.
Would come and bring you a bunch of roses, and 5 would be shaking you up against the garage door.
26-year-old Chris already had a reputation for putting bands together.
Fortunately for me, the band I put together was the Spice Girls.
And make sure you know which way to do this.
I developed them for over a year. But ultimately, I lost the Spice Girls and they went on to sign with Simon Fuller, and obviously they went on to be hugely successful. I didn't feel bitter at all. I was a young manager and I was fearless. It's just like, okay, I fell off that horse, I'll jump on another one.
management company who originally put the Spice Girls together are looking for the male equivalent. They're sifting through hundreds of applications, hoping to find the same red-hot ingredients.
I went about it in the same way as I did with the Spice Girls, handing out flyers and everything else, but the difference this time round, the media caught onto it and it became this story.
So how do you turn Victoria into Victor? Possibly footballer Dave Beckham's face, Peter Andre's washboard torso, and the legs of tennis star Tim Henman.
So we got absolutely flooded.
Are we seeing somewhere among all these young hopefuls the next pop sensation?
I was stood there thinking, what is going on?
Russell Brand was there. That would have been a fucked up band.
They herded you in like cattle as soon as you got to the front. Right, you 10. Done. Next.
I'm number 22 in the queue. And in front of me...
Jason Brown, number 21.
Jay.
Jay was like a man to me, you know, he had like a beard.
Jay was more mature, a bit more muscly. All the girls are going to really like him.
We said goodbye, the taxi cab is waiting.
I remember looking at Rich. He looks like he's born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And I thought, shit hair.
Heaven knows I was just a young boy, didn't know what I wanted to be.
Rich was the model, the one that was more boy bandy, but he kind of ticked that box.
I'd never done dance moves. The only thing I'd done was in clubs underage, But I wanted to get in just to, I didn't want to fail. I don't like failing.
Yeah.
Girl, I like those crazy dips on you. Girl,
Abs came in and he had swagger and confidence. I was like, yeah, you're the real deal. That's really good.
I'm wearing a Kappa tracksuit, white Reebok Classics, and I've got gel in my hair, far too much of it. I look like an absolute tosser.
Scott looked like a terrace boy. That was brilliant. That's what you want. That's lad culture.
if I had to live my life without you near me, the days would all be empty.
I used to clean all the glasses at the local Essex Working Men's Club, but I used to skive all the time on karaoke nights, and I used to sing Wet, 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 Love Is All Around. I wanted to be Marty Pellow.
I'll be there for you if you should need me.
I knew I had a good voice. I knew I had something. So I wanted to be heard. I remember looking at Sean and thinking, wow, you're so young.
I was very confident. I sang one of my own songs that I'd written. Obviously, it was very, basic.
And when you hold my hand, I just know I'm in dreamland.
Sean's voice was like this kind of lovely, sort of whipped up, velvety, soulful voice.
And it's love that you tend to lie.
He was very young, but he was a real find.
It was good for my age, for a 15-year-old kid. I grew up in Leeds, from quite a musical family. My dad had said, it will just be a foot into the industry. All I ever envisioned was singing a few songs on my piano and then living a normal life. I never thought about fame. I never thought about money, which I know sounds a bit weird, but I was just obsessed with music.
I never knew you're my kind of girl, yo, 'cause when I step to you, you kinda rock my world.
After whittling down 3,000 applicants to a final 5, Chris had a surprise for his new band in the form of a little-known industry executive.
Oh, baby, let's turn it into something good.
Nick,
blew my mind when I saw you up there. It's fantastic. So the good news is, providing you're all happy, is that we're going to sign you up to RCA Records very, very quickly. We're going to use the next 3 to 4 months, basically, to get you in a position where you look like the hottest boy group in the country. That's the plot.
Got some really excellent news. They want to use 5 of us. They want to sign us up with RCA Records.
This is on the day. This is literally unheard of.
Wow, like, you know, like, we're in, this is us.
You just really had a feeling that this is going to be big.
The contract offered by RCA is a multi-million-pound deal to produce the boys' first 5 albums.
Bye, wife.
They were going, oh, we need lawyers, we needed all those things. I needed nothing but a pen.
Welcome to 5, our new artist, signed to Simon Cowell Productions, aka RCA Records. The only word of warning we have to say is we'll put as much work into you as hopefully you'll put into the project. So let's drink to lots of hard work, lots of fun, and here's the future. Good luck. Good luck.
I wanted 5 people who were just going to create chaos.
5 weren't the only bands staking a claim in the mid-90s gold rush of new acts. A week after signing for RCA Records, 5's manager Chris decided his boys should also move in together.
The acid test is when you kind of put them into a house together, like lab rats. Put them into the cage together and see whether it works.
Who's those bags in there?
Sean's, I think.
They're Sean's.
You've found 5 lads from different corners of the country, different personalities. If it was to be authentic, these lads need to look like they've knocked around with each other for years. And that was something I did with the Spice Girls and became well documented that that's what you do. And it is what you do. There you go.
Cheers, Chris.
All right.
As with the Spice Girls, Chris, together with Simon, decided to document the creation process.
I thought it was a good idea to show how it all started. Would have been really interesting.
Simon being Simon, you know, he was looking at this footage, he was like, they're Neighbours from Hell. Neighbours from Hell was getting massive viewing figures. So we then kind of put a package of some of this footage together and sent it off, and they jumped at it.
This is 5, the latest in a long line of boy bands. But throwing together 5 wannabe pop stars might not sound such a good idea to any potential neighbours.
The boys next door have been an absolute nightmare to live with.
They'd be up in the toilet discussing who did what down the toilet. Didn't care, didn't have a worry in the world.
Jay and Scott are always giving it the mouth.
Rich! Get some milk! Get some butter!
It was just laddish behaviour, and it played into everything we were trying to do, you know, to give them an image.
I think the people around us were trying to fabricate something. It didn't feel real to me.
Watch out, 5 are about you, better watch
I'm trying to be what everyone's saying we are, bad boys.
But it wasn't just their image the boys needed to pull off.
From the offset, it was all very influenced and taking references from this kind of American culture.
What y'all wanna do? Wanna be ballers, shot callers, brawlers.
We were looking at American rappers, Puff Daddy, Notorious B.I.G.
Live a life without fear.
Taking a little bit of that and then serving it up in a pop package.
Up upon the bumper like I'm ready for full tilt. And in between time, in the meantime, I'ma drop you like a dope.
The guys were working with the best songwriters in the world. We came up with a sound. It was funk, it was hip hop, it was pop.
Do anything you want. If you want me, scratch your back. Put a feather on your belly button. Can I get with that? Yo, shall we do it still? Radio 1 Roadshow. Dave Pitt.
It's the Radio 1 Roadshow.
Just a few months after forming, Chris bagged the band their first gig on the influential Radio 1 Roadshow.
Live on Radio 1. We were like, really? Wow.
We'd never performed in front of anybody. We'd only done it in a rehearsal studio.
We're all about breaking new bands. I think they're going to go, so we're going to give it a shot later on.
Oh, this is it. Let's go.
Let's get you on the steps. Guys, have a good one, yeah? You'll be fine, guys. You won't let us down. This is the start of it.
It's a bit like before you're going to do a bungee jump.
Please make some noise for 5.
I was absolutely petrified.
5, what you waiting for? If you want to 3, 2, 1, let's do it!
The crowd went wild, like they just went bananas.
This is it. We've fucking done it.
We were all made for this. This is just, yes, that's all I can say. It's wicked.
For the first time actually seeing them on stage today, I actually felt in my bones that, you know, this is going to be a phenomenon. Ching ching!
And then everything starts to snowball from there, and it took hold quite quickly.
With a major label behind them, Five's first single went top 10.
Slam dunking their funk like you do, that is Five.
Right, OK, lift off. We're out the blocks.
Now they've got loads of eyes twinkling. It's 5.
As everybody gets up, it's 5!
It was absolutely instantaneous. It was like, I'm at school, a couple of months later, I'm top 10, and now I'm famous. It's literally like that.
We was just catapulted straight away. It was breathtaking.
It was all very exciting, but our workload was absolutely ridiculous.
It was literally just work, show, rehearse, record, video shoot.
As the demand for the band gets greater, the pressure gets greater because we're not in the digital world. There was no Zoom interviews, there was no social media. Every TV meant getting on a plane and going somewhere.
It was relentless. You'd finish late, then you'd drive somewhere, and then they'd have you up at 3 hours. You'd literally have 2 hours. It's insane what they expected us to do.
Whilst it's monotonous, that was your office. This is part of it. You've got to do the graph.
Stop, please. There's a price that comes with fame. And that's touring and leaving your home and leaving your girlfriend.
There is a contract you sign which says, I am going to be available to shake every hand, have my picture taken whenever requested, and my privacy now has pretty much disappeared. It's just a fact.
You gotta work it. That's what all the bands did in the early 60s. The Stones, the Beatles, you know, the Kinks, all those bands. It's all promotion. It's the old-fashioned way of promotion, but it works.
Hello. How are you?
Dickie! No girls, I want you no more.
We were waking up in hotel rooms and not knowing what country, let alone know what hotel you're in. You open the curtains and go, could be Japan, might be China, might not be, not a fucking clue.
Ja, Richie.
Ja, Sean.
Mi grupa 5, devčonki, mi ljubim vas, se praznikom.
Just over a year after forming, Five's first album went to #1, and the band went global.
Very much welcome to Sweden. Please welcome live to Midday, 5.
And wherever the boys went, the fans went too.
And you had to gear yourself up for it. I'd be like, Scott, you've got your necklace on, you need to put it in there. They'll rip it off. He's like, yeah. And then you're like, right, here we go, go. It's like getting ready for like some sort of war. And they're just like grabbing at you, grabbing your security, everyone's going crazy. And you're getting close the door. That's fun if it's like, you know, a couple of days a week. But it was 7 days a week, all year round.
You got a girlfriend?
I have a girlfriend.
I was homesick, very homesick. I really wanted to be at home with Kerry. I was with Kerry all the way through the band. I used to talk to her on the phone for hours and then wake up the next day and get the phone bill and go, fuck, it's $1,000 again. Because I missed her so much. I didn't want to put myself in places where, you know, there'd be loads of girls. It wasn't my thing, it's not me.
And there were other pressures the boys had to deal with. Britain's biggest Sunday newspaper was also on their trail.
There was no internet, there were no influencers. We were the influencers.
Already popular in the showbiz pages, it was when Richie started dating fellow pop star Billie Piper that the tabloids went into overdrive.
Billy and I, we met backstage, and it was really weird because we walked up backstage to say hello, and we hugged, and it was really odd because we just stood hugging for 10 minutes. Ultimately, we were kids that had been thrown into a lion's pit. We were each other's safe place. It was very much young love in a very strange environment, in a very strange life.
It was while out on tour that Richie's relationship with Billy came crashing down.
Minus 15. It's a little bit nippy.
So I was in Russia having some food. In come these really attractive Russians that was slightly odd. Why were they there?
What's wrong with a honey trap? Did it all the time. Go shag him, 10 grand tomorrow morning when you tell me about it. I didn't do that. But it's very likely that we might have done something like that.
I do remember the headline, 5-star Richie undid my skirt with his teeth. Almost like a porn story.
The fact that Richie is in a relationship with someone as hot as Billie Piper and then he goes to a bar and cheats on her, that makes it a much better story.
It massively hurt somebody that I loved. You know, I regret any pain I caused. But equally, I was 19, you know. I made a mistake. It ended a relationship. I think that was one of the bigger things to cope with, was the tabloids. Because they want you to slip up. They want to ruin you. That develops into an extremely deep, never-ending paranoia. So you are on your guard all the time, but you are always wary.
Fame is terrible. I've seen famous people, they go slightly mad. It's a form of insanity.
I always just felt like everybody else is like meant to be doing what they're doing. And I'm not here, I shouldn't be here, I'm an alien. I just started to sit back and retreat. I just didn't trust anybody. That was my strategy. Trust nobody, speak to nobody, then nothing can happen.
I remember going home and instantly people being different. No one knew how to treat me at all.
They can't understand what you've been doing. They can't understand how you're feeling. You'd meet a friend, an old friend that you grew up with maybe for a drink, and you can't complain. They've been working Monday to Friday in a job they don't like. They only see the dream that's been sold.
That was the chart, and this is 9-1.
Welcome to the Brits 2000!
At the turn of the millennium, Five were at the top of their game and in spectacular style opened Britain's biggest musical event. Rubbing shoulders with the industry's elite at the star-studded Bash, the boys were also up for Best British Pop Act.
And the winner is...
Five! Ah, the famous Five then, a boy band with a bit of attitude. Here they are then, 1, 2, 3, 4, and where's the honours?
I was sat outside somebody's dressing room and I was just sat on the floor, just staring at the floor, craving this normality. I always craved this normality that I didn't have. And then all of a sudden, Robbie Williams, he came up to me and he put his little arm around me and he was like, "You all right, mate? You know, is there anything you want to talk about?" And I just froze.
I watched him from afar retreat under the weight of the madness, and I knew what he was going through.
Robbie Williams is now talking to me, and to me, he's not normal. So I'm like, I need somebody normal. I need something normal.
There is a glitch in the matrix that happens, and a breaking of reality that fractures the mind. I totally get it.
I don't even think I answered him. And he just left. But thank you very much for doing that.
Five were now a multi-million-pound business.
We were having a lot of success, but with that, the boys becoming more and more demanding.
Right, just finished the photo shoot, mate.
Is that a fucking photo shoot? What do you think, lad?
Abs had gone back to the hotel room and he was sitting there bored, flicking matches. Went like that, and then all the curtains went up. Rolling flames across the ceiling. They had to evacuate the whole hotel.
This trip has been the biggest bag of shite I have ever had the unpleasantness to be on.
Ain't no more than that, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no more than that.
Hence, I'm drowning my sorrows.
Hello, mate. All right,
Chris is trying to manage one of the biggest bands in the world. We all saw him as like this big adult that should have been looking after us. He was 25 years old.
We were hard on him, like we were really hard on him. At times, probably fucking vile to him.
Oh my God! Why don't you shut your f***ing mouth?
In typical Five fashion, they had, again, full days, travelling around and press junkets and all this stuff, no time off whatsoever. And we were like, what are they going to do if we just say we're not doing it? There was definitely a little bit of spite to the people that had worked us so hard and into the ground, because that was their baby, and it was like, you've made us not care anymore. Look what we're doing to your baby.
Two members of the boy band Five have appeared in court after being arrested in connection with a fight in a Dublin bar. Jay Brown and Richie Neville were charged with assault and public order offences after an incident last night.
By late 2000, it looked like Five were finally living up to their bad boy image.
The phone rings and it's Simon Cowell. Ooh, shit. Thinking he's gonna be like, what the hell? And his exact words were, well fucking done. He's like, you can't fucking buy publicity like that. This is amazing. We were like, he doesn't care.
Well, I might have said that. Look, nobody got really hurt. They were just what they were.
That was that.
The band's behaviour may have been deteriorating, but Chris was still hopeful they could do what no boy band of the era, not even Take That, had done before.
I was very confident we could hit it in America.
Our managers suggested that we go and support NSYNC on their tour.
the North American tour with the biggest boy band of that time. It was there for the taking.
Support NSYNC? Are you kidding me? No way. Our egos couldn't take that.
I remember sitting down with them at one point. It's like, how do I keep this going? So we brought the boys into the studio, said, right, you're going to listen to this song. It's called Hit Me Baby One More Time. And we go, what do you think? And the boys go, it's fucking wank. I was like, oh, God, this couldn't get any worse. They launched a song with Britney Spears, and Hit Me Baby One More Time becomes a worldwide hit, which will probably be played for the next 50 years. We also got offered Bye Bye Bye, which then became a massive hit for NSYNC as well, and the boys turned that one down.
And I was mortified. Do you know what you've just passed on? I'm telling you, this is the record that will break you in America. We don't like it.
By mid-2001, Five had been together for over 4 years.
I look at myself and I look at all of the boys and I go, there's nothing there. We're not engaging each other, we're not laughing, we're just doing. I went into the record label and I said, I can't be in this band anymore. I'm done. That's it. They just thought I needed a bit more cash.
And it's just that same old attitude of, you know, how we dealt with everything. Right, okay, shovel a couple of plasters on it. It's just like the show's got to carry on.
And they just kept on saying no. And what happened next is awful because I pinned one of the big cheeses at the record label up against his desk with my foot, crushing him into the wall, and said, I will fucking leave this band, you try and fucking stop me, with Simon Cowell trying to fight me off him.
We almost ended up in a fist fight. I was that close to punching him in the face.
I'd lost my mind. That's called security. And that to carry me out of the building, kicking and screaming like a fucking wild dog, through the revolving doors and out. Maybe a week later, I'm called into another meeting. And everyone's there. And they're going, you can't leave. But this time I've got in front of me 4 other people's lives. And I couldn't let them down. So I said, go then, I'll do it. And I shouldn't have. I should have said no. Should have said no.
Baby, when the lights go out, every single word could not express the love and tenderness.
I take a lot of responsibility, and I'm happily hold my hands up because I think it's like we gave them enough rope to hang themselves with, and that's exactly what they did over time. And I wasn't there enough to kind of save them from themselves.
When the lights go out.